First graders, it's Mr. Marshall at Stony Lane again. Um, I know that you've been working really hard as a writer, and I know that you've been doing some new things. Like I know you've begun writing information books. Information books are like teaching books, books that people who read these books will learn a lot because you wrote them, right? They're learning a lot about whatever topic that you chose, right? And sometimes what happens is you're kind of like not sure what to write your information book about. Is that true? Your all about book? That happens. That happens. And sometimes it's hard to get an idea for something to write about. So, what I want to teach you is how you can use some of the tools that you did when you were writing stories to get ideas for an information book now. Okay, so watch. Remember this? Remember this? This is your heart map. We used this a little while ago when we were writing stories, and it's filled with different things that are in your heart that you care a lot about. And so this is my heart map that I showed you last time, and I've added some stuff to it. Right, I've added some stuff that have helped me write stories, and you can also use the same exact heart map to write an information book. Did you know that? Because the things that are in your heart are things you can also be an expert on that you could teach other people too. So watch. I'm going to use my heart map, and I'm going to pick something that's in my heart map and see if I can have an idea of what I could write an information book about. Okay? So here we go. Let's see. In my heart map, I've got all these different topics, right? I've got people in my family. I've got Hungary, which is the country where my family came from. I have Australia. That's the country that I visited once, right? I've got all sorts of other stuff in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one of these and just like see what I can like write. Okay. So let's see. I've got, I could write a lot about my kids, but I don't know that I want to write an all about book about my kids. I'm just not in the mood for that. I could write about an all about book about camping because I know a lot about camping and people might want to learn about camping. I know. I think I'm going to do Australia again, right? Because remember that story I told you last time about the kangaroo eating in my hand? And so I think I could tell a lot of stuff about Australia. So let's see. Let me grab some paper and make a table of contents. Think about all the different chapters, about all the different topics that I know about Australia. So let's see. I'm going to call this page my table of contents. You know, a table of contents is the beginning of a book that tells the reader all the things that are going to be in the book, right? So I'm going to make a table of contents right here. So on my table of contents, I'm going to think of chapters because those are the parts of my book. So I'm going to call it chapter 1, right? So what do I know about Australia? I could tell a lot about what Australia looks like, right? So Australia, we're going to call that a map. Australia's map. That's chapter 1. So I can make a picture of Australia and kind of write about where stuff is in Australia. Okay. Chapter 2 is going to be animals that live in Australia, because Australia has all sorts of animals that live there and nowhere else. Like there's the kangaroo, and there's the emu, and there's the koala bear, right? I could write about all those different kinds of animals. Let's see, chapter 3. What else do I know about Australia? I could tell my readers about famous places in Australia, because there's cities and there's a place called the Outback, and so I could write about that. There's lots of beaches in Australia. I think of one more thing in Australia. There are, I could talk about the climate in Australia. That's like the weather, because you know what? Australia is on the bottom part of the earth, in what's called the southern hemisphere. And so their seasons are backwards. Did you know that? Like when we're having winter, they're having summer. And when we're having summer, they're having winter. So that means like their school year, like our school year goes from September to June, and then we have the summer off. Their school year goes from February to November, and then they have December and January off. And when we have like Christmas and Hanukkah and holidays like that here, they have those too, but it's not snowing. It's summertime and they're wearing shorts. Can you believe that? Like New Year's Eve, they're out there in shorts. They're at the beach when we're like freezing. Isn't that cool? So you see what I did? You see how I made my table of contents? And the way I got my idea was by looking back at my good old heart map and find something that really matters to me. Okay? Why don't you try that? Use your heart map and then use that to make a table of contents for an information book that you might write for someone else to learn from you. Okay? Go try that, and then I'll be back another day. Bye.